Hey, y'all. Yes, we are still hanging out in my living room for the daily drive. We'll just call these drives informal daily drives this week. But hey, y'all, thank you for being here. Thanks for watching the daily drive. I promise we're going to get back to normal with my content like real soon. I got to get myself just back in control after everything that has happened in our lives. But anyway, welcome to the Daily Drive. If you're new here, this is really just how I live in my purpose through sort of an intense personal growth journey that I have been on for a while now. I have learned that my purpose in life is to speak openly, publicly, and vulnerably about anxiety whenever I can. And so I do that twice a week here on Facebook. And today, I want to talk about something a little bit different. So usually I just kind of talk about things that are going on, things that have happened, whatever pops into my mind that's like related to anxiety or whatever you want to call it. But I want to give you some actual tools, some actual things that you can use. So sometimes, I don't know what's going on with my hair, y'all. Sometimes we talk about gratitude. Sometimes we talk about intentional thinking. Sometimes we just talk about what you can do to be in control of your own mind while you're living with anxiety. But what I want to talk to you about today, because I think it's probably something that we've all experienced in our lives, I just want to talk to you about how to show up for someone that has anxiety, whether it's a friend, your significant other, a family member, someone that's close in your life. But I just want to talk to you today about how you show up for someone in your life that is experiencing anxiety, whether they're coming to you to vent about their anxiety, whether they're coming to you in a moment of panic, they're having a panic attack. I just want to talk about some do's and don'ts of being there for someone that has anxiety. And before I get into that, let me know in the comments, y'all, if you watch the show Below Deck, because believe it or not, this is what made me think of this subject. My husband and I have been binging that show lately, Below Deck on Bravo, and all the drama and things that happen on shows like that. It just had me thinking about how these people could show up for each other better, how they could be there for each other better in that environment that they're in. So I just want today to quickly talk about how you can show up for someone in your life that has anxiety and give you kind of some do's and don'ts to be there for someone that has anxiety. And I want to start with some of the don'ts to do for someone in your life that has anxiety, because I don't know about you, but I have had moments in my life where I've been panicky, where I've been having anxiety, and someone is trying their hardest to help me, but it's kind of just making things worse. The things that they're saying, whatever they're doing, is kind of just making things worse for you, right? And the biggest thing that I sort of connect with is when people just kind of try to dismiss your anxiety, or they tell you, oh, just calm down. Someone tell me when in the history of time telling someone to calm down while they're upset has actually worked. Because for me, it does the opposite, right? If I'm already anxious and somebody tells me to calm down, that's like popping the cork off the champagne and everything's going to explode, right? And so don't tell people just calm down. Oh, you just worry too much. Oh, let's just go do something else. Don't downplay what someone is going through when they're having anxiety. So that's probably the biggest don't for me, is don't downplay what they're going through. Don't just tell someone to calm down. Don't tell them they worry too much. Those words can be triggers for increasing the anxiety. Like I said, when someone tells me to calm down when I'm anxious, it's like the gloves are coming off, right? It's like another trigger on top of that. So don't just tell someone to calm down. Don't just tell someone, oh, you're worrying too much. Don't just dismiss how someone is feeling when they're in that moment of anxiety, because that could make things worse, right in the moment or in the long run. So don't downplay their anxiety. Don't just tell people to calm down when they're feeling anxious. Good morning. If you just hopped on, give me a sunshine, say good morning in the comments. We're just talking about some anxiety do's and don'ts, how to show up for people in your life that experience anxiety, some do's and don'ts of that. And I'm kind of starting with the don'ts. And so the first thing that I was saying is don't just dismiss someone's feelings and tell them, oh, just calm down. The next thing, if someone is coming to you in a moment of anxiety, in a moment of panic, and they're telling you something, they're explaining a situation to you, don't turn it around and make it about yourself. I know that in our minds, it's easy and we want to relate to someone. If someone is coming and telling us about the horrible day that they're having, our first thought in our mind is that we want to relate to them. And so we want to tell them about all the horrible days we've had too, right? That doesn't really help. It's not really helpful for me to be going to someone in a moment of anxiety and just want a voice to listen, and then they are turning it around and making it about themselves and talking about themselves with everything. So if someone is coming to you in their anxiety, in their moment of panic, don't turn it around and make it about yourself. I know that we want to relate to each other, and so we want to give our stories about all of those things that we feel like they can relate to, but that's not the time for it. The moment of anxiety and panic when someone is coming to you is not the time to turn it around and make it about yourself, right? This also is not the time really to offer advice. Right? You may not have the right advice for this person. You may not know what to even say to them. So this isn't the right time to offer advice. Maybe you can readdress this situation later. Maybe the person asks you for advice, but this isn't the time to just offer up your own advice about someone. And so those are kind of the biggest don'ts when you're dealing with someone in their moment of panic, when someone is coming to you with anxiety and they want you to hear them out, to talk to them. The biggest don't is don't dismiss them. Don't brush it off. Don't make them feel like their anxiety makes them a different person. Don't talk down to them. Don't flip it around and make it about yourself. Don't offer advice without being asked. And don't just tell people to calm down and worry less. It doesn't help. So with those don'ts being put out there, what are the do's of engaging with someone that has anxiety? How can we actively show up for our friends, our family, our loved ones with anxiety without cycling through those don'ts? So what are some of the do's? The biggest thing that you can do for someone that has anxiety, that's in a moment of panic, is just listen objectively. Just be there to listen to what they're saying. This is not offering advice. It's not talking about yourself. It's not brushing them off. It's just listening objectively to what they're saying. And what do I mean by objectively? I mean just listening, not offering anything, listening with an open mind, not instantly thinking about yourself, just listening with an openness to what that person is saying. Remaining objective is huge when you're dealing with people that have anxiety. You can offer some anxiety techniques. Maybe they're in a moment of panic. Encourage them to not calm down. Encourage them to slow their breathing. Encourage them to do a breathing technique. Help them change their location, change their scenery. Maybe you're at work and something has happened at work and someone is really anxious. Maybe you can take them into the bathroom for a second to calm down, or take them outside for a second to help them ease that anxiety, and offer them, those breathing techniques, a grounding technique. I'll drop some of those in the comments when I'm done here. But remaining objective is the biggest thing, and then offer something to do for that person. Familiarize yourself with anxiety techniques that might help yourself, right? There's tons of grounding exercises. There's meditation, there's yoga, there is stretching, there is, like I said, changing the location. If you're sitting on the couch and you're feeling anxious about something and you have someone there helping you, get up and go for a walk or something. Change the scenery. So offer an anxiety technique to your friend, your loved one, while you are remaining objective. Validate their feelings. There's a difference between validating someone's feelings and imposing your own energy onto that person, right? Validating someone's feelings looks like, oh man, that must be really hard to go through. Hard days kind of suck. I know how you're feeling, you're going through it, and that must be really hard. That's validating someone's feelings. We're allowed to feel overwhelmed. We're allowed to feel anxious. We're allowed to have feelings, right? And most often what happens is that our feelings are dismissed as, oh, just calm down. Oh, just don't worry. And so validating someone's feelings while they're in that moment of anxiety is super helpful, super important, whether you believe or agree with how they're feeling or not. It's not your place to agree with them or not. It's your place to be an objective friend to someone, right? So we are remaining objective while validating their feelings. And so, like I said, that looks like, man, that must suck. I know you're worried about that. It's easy to worry about things like that. I am here for you. I know what you're going through. That must be really hard for you to go through. Things like that is validating that person's feelings. What's not validating that person's feelings is brushing it off, is trying to change the subject, right? When you're anxious, the last thing you want to do is force yourself to go, think about something else that's like intense, right? So trying to just change the subject and brush it off, that's not validating that person's feelings. Saying, oh, yeah, I went through that yesterday. I woke up and stubbed my toe and I was in a bad mood all day yesterday, and then I got to, you're changing the subject on that person, and you're also making their feelings feel like they're less than your feelings, because you are making them feel like it's more important to tell them how you're feeling right now than to listen as that objective friend, right? So validating someone's feelings looks completely different than brushing someone off and making their feelings feel different or making it all about you. So yeah, that sucks. I've been through that. I know you must be worried. That's understandable to feel worried. Is there anything that I can do to help you in this moment? I'm here for you. Validating those feelings rather than brushing it off or changing the subject or whatever. You can learn about what causes anxiety when this person is calmed down, when they're in a better state of mind and can think about things. You can learn about their anxiety, what triggers them, what gives them that anxiety, so that maybe you can show up better for them in situations in the future. So you can actively learn about your friends and loved ones and their anxiety and what you can do for them. You can celebrate success, right? We are in a world, a society of self-doubt, of looking down on ourselves, of feeling like we're spinning our wheels, going nowhere. So celebrate their success. Remind them that you're doing awesome handling all of this stuff. I know that must be hard, but you are handling it with grace, and that's awesome. I'm here for you, right? Validating their feelings and celebrating their success. It's not changing the subject because you're still there for them objectively. It's reminding them in that moment that there's other things, other gratitude in life. So once you have given an anxiety technique, changed the scenery, validated their feelings, right? Celebrate their successes. Just make that person feel good. Just make that person feel good. Anxiety usually is caused by our thinking not being, we are thinking about things differently than what they actually are. That is what is causing us anxiety. For example, when I get ready to go drive somewhere, I get really, really anxious because I've been in accidents before. I have totaled my favorite car. I've been in some, pretty severe car accidents. I know how other people drive. I know how I drive, right? And so I start to get anxious. I'm anxious about driving because of what I've been through in the past with that. Do I know that something's going to happen when I get in the car? No, I can't predict that, But am I open to giving myself the opportunity to get out of my house and go places? Yeah, right? Things have happened in our lives that just give us anxiety. And when we try to cover it up and block it, when we have friends that aren't really supportive of us, it makes the anxiety and the life journey that much harder. And I don't know about y'all, but the life journey is already hard enough without adding friends that make your anxiety worse, right? So when you have someone in your life that deals with anxiety, whether they've told you they have anxiety or not, right? Because we all can experience anxiety symptoms in our lives at any time. I have been diagnosed with anxiety, but that wasn't until 2010. And when I look back on my life, I can see all of those anxiety times where it was just undiagnosed anxiety, right? So you know when you have felt anxious before. So these are things that you can do to show up for yourself, right? Validate your own feelings. It's okay to feel this way, but I'm not going to live here, right? It's okay to grieve this right now, but I'm not going to stay here, right? Validate your own feelings. Keep your own open mind. I have lists in my phone of things to do when I'm feeling down, things to do when I need a mindset flip. I have people that I follow, people that I look at. So learn for yourself and what works for yourself and what makes you happy. Celebrate your own success. The more you show up for yourself in your life with anxiety, the more you'll understand how to show up for others. Don't brush your anxiety under the rug because you don't know how to handle it. Learn, and then you'll be able to show up for yourself and others in your life, and you will, the quality of the people in your life will become more valuable than the quantity. And that is something that I am learning lately. I have to, on this subject, give a shout out to my best friend, Ashley, because I never had an objective friend until I became close friends with my best friend, Ashley. She listens to me. We sound off to each other. We go back and forth. We ask for advice if we need it. We validate each other's feelings. We don't make things about us. It is just an objective friendship that I am so grateful for. And I never had a friend like that until I met her 5 years ago-ish, right? And so being that person for others will allow you to see where the quality of people are in your life, right? So when you are experiencing, or when you have someone in your life that lives with anxiety, that is coming to you in a moment of anxiety or in a moment of panic, don't just tell them to calm down. Don't just tell them to worry less. Don't just tell them it's all in their head. That makes things worse. Don't switch the subject to yourself or brush things off. If someone's had a bad day, just listen to their bad day. Don't impact all of your bad days into the conversation, right? Remain open. Don't offer advice unless they ask you for advice. Who loves unwarranted advice? Who loves it when someone just comes up out of the blue and tells them something they need to do? When people tell me I need to fix my roots, it infuriates me, right? I know, I don't need you to tell me, right? So don't just offer advice. If they ask, that's different, but don't just offer advice and change the subject and make it about you. Remain objective, remain open. Be the person that friend, that family member can just come and talk to, because you're not going to make them feel worse. You're not going to make it about yourself. Remain objective. Offer them an anxiety technique. Hey, let's do some deep breathing real quick. Let's stretch really quick. Let's change this location. Let's go sit somewhere else and talk about it. Offer an anxiety technique. Validate their feelings. Yeah, that kind of sucks. I know how that can feel sometimes. I'm sorry you're worried about that. That's understandable to be worried about that. It's understandable to be overwhelmed by all of these things. You have so much going on in your life, and it's awesome that you take care of it all, right? Validate their feelings. Celebrate their successes. You have so much going great for you in your life. I know that right now this may seem like a big worrisome moment, but what about when you get home to your great, awesome kids and you get to hang out with them? You've raised them so great, right? Celebrate those successes. Learn what you can do for that person. Learn about that person. What causes them anxiety? What triggers them? I know what triggers my husband. I know what triggers my family. I know what triggers my close friends, right? Know and learn about someone. When someone wants to get to know me and is asking about me and intentionally making the conversation about me and not flipping the subject back to themselves, it makes me feel special. It makes me feel wanted. It makes me feel like I'm okay right now, like someone wants to talk to me, right? When I'm talking to someone and they're just making it all about themselves, I'm just sitting there rolling my eyes, right? So remain objective. Offer an anxiety technique, validate their feelings, learn what you can do to be there for that person, learn what makes them anxious, what triggers them, celebrate their successes, and just always keep an open mind. We don't know what people are going through. We may get a story, but it might not be the full story. So we may not ever know the full story, and we're all going through things. So just keep an open mind and just show up for people. And it'll come back to you tenfold in the quality of your relationships. I promise you, my relationships, as I've been on my own personal growth journey, the quality of my relationships, whether it's with my husband, my friends, my family, has changed drastically. Boundaries have been set, and things have been put into motion because I'm learning about myself. I'm learning about the people around me. I'm learning what I can do to show up for the people around me. I make it a point to learn something new every single day because that is how you become unlimited. By learning new things and learning what thoughts you can change in your mind. Every day I learn something new. So show up for those people in your life that have anxiety. Don't make it all about you. Don't dismiss their feelings. Don't just tell them to calm down. Remain objective. Keep an open mind. Celebrate their success. Offer an anxiety technique. Validate their feelings. It will mean so much to that person and will make everyone's life all around easier because you're working through that anxiety together rather than adding to it. I love y'all so much, and I love that you tune in and want to listen and want to change and want to know how you can be there for people in your life. And this is also how people can be there for you. Tag a friend that needs to learn how to show up for you in your life. Tag a family member that needs to know how to handle people that have anxiety, how to live with people that have anxiety, because this is information that's helpful for you and for the people in your life. And I appreciate so much that y'all are here. So just tag someone who needs to know this, who needs to hear some do's and don'ts of living with anxiety. I love y'all so, so much. Even though I'm out here in the living room with all the animals today, I still put y'all in my joy jar on the back of my notes for today. Today, I just wrote support systems, and I wrote systems with an S because you can have more than one support system. I have a family support system. I have a Florida family support system. I have a church support system. I have a Girl Scout community support. You can have more than one support system, and I want you to know that I am always here to support you. And so all of those support systems, all of you all that are there for me, that tune in, that are part of my support system, everybody that has a support system that's growing, that's learning, y'all go in the joy jar. I am so grateful for you all the time. Do me a favor and check out dailydrivecoaching.com. You can see all of the daily drives. You can go back a couple of years and see some old daily drives on there too. There's blog posts, there's content for you to help you maneuver through life with anxiety. That's dailydrivecoaching.com. If you're not part of my Becoming Unlimited Facebook group, it's tagged here in this video. You can search Becoming Unlimited or let me know and I can add you. That is just a free community of support where you get these daily drives, a little bit more content about unlimiting your thoughts, and just a group of people to be in support of and with, so that you know you're not alone on this journey. That's Becoming Unlimited. If you're checking out Daily Drive Coaching on YouTube, do me a favor and hit subscribe and turn on notifications for all of my social media, because I will never ask for a fee for what I do here on social media. I have other dreams and goals and hopes for that. But when you help me here on social media, it helps me get closer to those hopes and goals and dreams. So I will never ask for a fee for what I do here. I just ask that you help me spread mental health awareness and continue to break the stigmas around mental health by tagging a friend, subscribing to all of the things, connecting with me, liking, engaging, just showing up on social media. It helps me more than you know, and I appreciate it so much. So make sure you subscribe. And remember, when you are encountering loved ones that are living with anxiety, remember there's some do's and don'ts to making them feel more comfortable, right? So don't make it about you. Don't just tell them to calm down. Don't dismiss their feelings. Don't brush it off. Do remain objective, offer an anxiety technique, validate their feelings, celebrate their successes, keep an open mind, and learn how you can show up for them better. I love y'all so much. Thank you for being here. Hopefully I'll be back in my office soon and we'll be back to normal, but who knows? I love you. Thanks for being here, and I will see you soon.